I will not promote this protector because he's a yellow hat lineage. I will not promote it because it's my protector. Because he is not a yellow hat protector. He is a protector of the Buddha Dharma. His guru happens to be Tsongkhapa. He protects and helps anyone, Buddhist and non-Buddhist, anywhere. So if anybody thinks he's a Gelugpa protector, let me strike that out. You're wrong. Number 2, people say he's Manjushri. Some people say he's a high lama who's become one with Guya Samanja. Hiruka. They're wrong. He is a direct emanation of Lama Tsongkhapa himself. He is in Lama Tsongkhapa in a fierce form. He has 32 deities, which fits the 32 different components of Lama Tsongkhapa's body. And there are many statements written by His Holiness Pabongka Rinpoche to support that. So what you're looking at is Lama Tsongkhapa in the most fierce form. I say these past Manjushri just make you guys happy, easier lah. But he's actually Lama Tsongkhapa in a very fierce form, a direct emanation. Not an incarnation. In emanation, there's a difference. He is Lama Tsongkhapa. So, therefore you think, why pray to Lama Tsongkhapa? Why pray? Because, let's say your father is a policeman, but if he doesn't have his badge, he can't arrest or protect or do anything for you. But if he has his badge and he can do it, similarly, Lama Tsongkhapa's badge, he emanates as a Dharma protector. That's Dharma protector. His whole lineage derives from Lama Tsongkhapa. His whole lineage comes from Lama Tsongkhapa. His whole lineage arises from Lama Tsongkhapa and leads you back to Lama Tsongkhapa. Why? Wisdom. Wisdom. So, his first life, his name was Dunzin Traba Gensen. Dulzin Traba Gensen is his first life. He was a very erudite master and scholar. Very, very erudite. And he lived during the time of Lama Tsongkhapa. He was one of the 5 principal students of Lama Tsongkhapa. And what's incredible about him is it says that his attainments and his power was that of equal to Lama Tsongkhapa. But being his student, he always remained humble to Lama Tsongkhapa and sat on the floor. And he was the one among many Dharma works that built Ganden Monastery. So he raised the funds. He talked to the sponsors. He maintained a good relationship with the sponsors because you can't leave that to Lama Tsongkhapa. Lama Tsongkhapa can't keep making all the sponsors happy. It would be too many, too much. Take away from Dharma work. So he made the sponsors happy. He talked to them. He got the funds. He got the statue makers. He got the wood makers. He got the masonry. He got all of that together. And he organized and supervised the whole building of Ganden Monastery in Tibet. Can you imagine? One little fella, he did it all Ganden Monastery. And Dunzin Traba Gensen's main activity was to help the teachings of Je Tsongkhapa to flourish. He worked to remove the obstacles and gather favorable conditions for the dissemination of the precious teachings during his lifetime. It was Je Tsongkhapa's wish that the special Dharma derived from Manjushri's wisdom should spread far and wide. And Dunzin Traba Gensen, as his devoted disciple, worked tirelessly for his guru. Because Lama Tsongkhapa's Dharma was all coming from Manjushri. So Lama Tsongkhapa didn't want this lost. Lama Tsongkhapa wasn't thinking about himself. He was thinking Manjushri's words would be lost. So he told that to Dunzin Traba Gensen. Dunzin Traba Gensen spent his whole life tirelessly working to preserve Lord Tsongkhapa's works and to spread it far and wide. Tirelessly. Je Tsongkhapa traveled extensively in response to invitations to give teachings. He also engaged in profound retreats for the purposes of writing and meditating. And while he was away, he would leave Dunzin Traba Gensen in charge of all of his affairs. So he was actually the Changzhe, or the liaison of Lama Tsongkhapa. You see, to be a liaison is not a lowly position, it's a very high position. It means you disseminate the Lama's works out into the world. That's what a liaison does. It was Dunzin Traba Gensen, for example, who organized the building of Ganden Monastery. Rather than demonstrating miraculous powers, Dunzin Traba Gensen demonstrated how to practice pure Dharma by relying sincerely upon a spiritual guru devotion, maintaining pure moral discipline, and so forth. Like Je Tsongkhapa, he showed that there is no contradiction between the external practice of Vinaya, the internal practice of the Bodhisattva path, and the highest inner practices of secret Yoga Tantra. Je Tsongkhapa's disciple believed that Dunzin Traba Gensen and Je Tsongkhapa were equal in their realizations, abilities, and wisdom. When Je Tsongkhapa passed away, his throne was offered first to Dunzin. When Tsongkhapa passed away, the throne by all the illustrious students offered to him to sit on, to take over as Tsongkhapa's successor. But Dunzin Traba Gensen declined and offered to Gyetsub Rinpoche. So on Lama Tsongkhapa's statue, you see 2 figures. You see Gyetsub, the fierce one. I'm sorry, the older one. offered to get up. He wanted to go into retreat. So Dunzin Traba Gyaltsen, he went into retreat and passed away. And during that time, he would attend all of Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings happily, wide awake and focused. And he would learn and listen. And during one of these many, many talks during Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings, there was a white dove flying above Lama Tsongkhapa, circling his head. So Dunzin Traba Gyaltsen was in the audience, and after the teaching was finished, Lord Tsongkhapa was escorted back to his chambers, and everybody left, and Dunzin Traba Gyaltsen has clairvoyance and said to the bird, "Why the Lord is giving Dharma teachings, why are you so disturbing?" So the little bird emanated in the form of a young white boy. White, not in Caucasian, a young fair boy wearing white clothes. And he says, "I am Nechung. I am the protector of Tibet. I have been entrusted by Guru Pedma Sambhava to protect Tibet and the general welfare of Tibet. I am Nechung. But Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings I have attended just now, they are superior in their thought on Madhyamika and the teachings of emptiness. The teachings are very high. And in the future, for people who suffer tremendously, Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings will be relevant in the world. Why? In the future, the world will be based on logic and study and education, not magic and mysticism. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa's way will be reach more people to reach the Dharma, because you're dealing with educated people. You need to give Dharma, not show miracles. So we need a special Dharma protector to make sure Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings do not degenerate or disintegrate before its time, and many people can get it. And the sponsors and the funds and the building and the artisans and craftsmen that we need to build temples to spread Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings, we need a special protector to do that job. Will you do it? Nechung himself asked. And then Dunzin Traba again says, "No, you're a protector, you can do it." He says, "No, I'm a general Dharma protector, but I need something specific." It's like Nechung is like a multivitamin, but he needs an extra dose of C now. So then he said, "You should do it. Since you are so devoted to Lama Tsongkhapa and you want to spread the teachings of Manjushri and you want to help and you want to be of great help, you should do it." And then Dunzin says, "But I'm a Lama. I'm a monk." He says, "No, you should do it. Will you do it?" So because Dunzin was so dedicated to Lama Tsongkhapa, his Guru devotion was so strong, he says, "I will." Then Nechung said to him, "Don't forget your promise. Don't forget." Nechung disappeared. He's a Dharma protector who resides in Samye in Tibet. He's the one that takes trance, and Dalai Lama convenes and talks with him all the time. He's a state oracle. Then Dunzin Traba Gyaltsen went into meditation. After Lama Tsongkhapa passed away, he built Ganden Monastery. This is just a short thing. Then he took rebirth in central Tibet as a great Lama called Panchen Sonam Trangpa. Like Dunzin, he worked very hard to remove the obstacles of Jet Tsongkhapa, and he was the first Lama in the history of Tibet, listen very carefully, to become the abbot of Gyude Monastery, Ganden Monastery, Drepung Monastery, Sera Monastery, and to become the 15th golden throne holder of Lama Tsongkhapa. So he became Ganden Chiba. So this great Lama, his next incarnation, was the abbot of Ganden, Sera, Drepung, Gyude, and the Ganden Chiba. Yes, no one in the history of Tibet has held all these positions simultaneously or in one lifetime. No one. Impossible. Even today, no one has achieved that feat. His erudite scholarliness, his meditational powers, and his presence was so incredible that he became that. And you have to understand, that time, Sera was 6,000 monks. Drepung was 8,000. So when he became their abbot, he was in charge of all these fellas. And the Gyude Tantra College, that's the college to teach Tantra and disseminate Tantra to make sure Tantra is not degenerated. He was in charge. On top of that, he sat on Lama Tsongkhapa's throne as the 15th patriarch. Now we're on the 101st. The current Ganden Chiba is His Eminence Lungrik Namgyal Rinpoche. He is from Ganden Shatse Monastery. He is the 101st patriarch. From Lama Tsongkhapa to now unbroken. And Panchen Sonam Trangpa made many commentaries and sutras. He wrote 40 volumes of works, where today Ganden Shatse and Drepung use 11 volumes of Panchen Sonam Trangpa's works to study to become a Geshe. So if you go to Ganden Shatse Monastery, you go to Drepung Losling, to two of the biggest. All the Geshes there must study his writings to become a Geshe. If you don't study that, you can't be a Geshe. Simple. And when you go for debate, you debate his writings. That's written by him. Throughout his life, Panchen Sonam worked to further Je Tsongkhapa's doctrine. When he became holder of Je Tsongkhapa's throne, he composed the following prayer. Since the tradition of Je Tsongkhapa, the king of Dharma, may flourish, may all obstacles be pacified, may all favorable conditions abound. So the Chuji Jabo Tsongkhapa, Chuji Nama Pewala, written by him when he was the Ganden throne holder. Incredible. Even that prayer he wrote, and that simple prayer that we recite spread all through Tibet. Even a simple 2-line prayer he wrote, everybody uses because it's so effective. These prayers are recited every day after teachings and pujas in all Gelugpa monasteries and Dharma centers, indicate that Panchen Sonam Trungpa's activities were the same as Dorje Shugden's, working to cause Je Tsongkhapa's doctrine to flourish. Later in life, Panchen Sonam Trungpa became the spiritual guide of the reincarnation of the first Dalai Lama. So his second incarnation became the guru of His Holiness Je Gendinju, His Holiness the first Dalai Lama. Then it was because of his teachings that the third Dalai Lama became very erudite and converted all of Mongolia into Buddhism because of him. Again, when Panchen Sonam Trungpa passed away, he died and remained in single-pointed meditation. Clear light of death for 15 days. He sat 15 days not moving, not breathing, nothing. 15 days. And from his body it didn't rot. You smell beautiful flowers. And you hear singing. Then his body shrunk to the size of a forearm like that. And from his body many relics fell out. Even today we can see lamas do that. It's not a joke. I've seen it. Many thousands of relic pills come from his body. For people to eat, to clear their mind, burn to chase away spirits, and to heal their body. From his manner of dying, we have realized he's not an ordinary being. Then his next incarnation was Tuku Trapa Gensen. Now this is very important. You guys listen carefully. Some of you, I'll give you this book, so don't worry about notes. Tuku Trapa Gensen was a reincarnation of Panchen Sonam Trungpa. Erudite, as great, as fabulous. He lived during the time of the great fifth Dalai Lama, His Holiness Gyawang Ngawang Losang Gyatso. He lived in Drepung Monastery, and both these lamas were disciples of the first Panchen Lama. The first Panchen Lama, which you see up there, the upper right left, was his disciple. And both Dalai Lama and him were disciples of the first Panchen Lama. The first Panchen Lama wrote our Lama Chopa books that we recite every talk. And there's a further connection because Panchen Sonam Trungpa had been the main guru of the third Dalai Lama, and the fifth Dalai Lama was in the same mental condition as the third Dalai Lama. Both Tuku Trapa Gensen and the fifth Dalai Lama were highly respected and considered very pure and precious teachers. Tuku Trapa Gensen studied both Sutra and Tantra mainly under the first Panchen Lama and became a great scholar and meditator. He went to over 100 caves to meditate and receive many direct visions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So this incarnation likes to hang out in caves, likes to stay in caves, and likes to meditate. He made a number of predictions, including the one that he would become Dorje Shugden in the future. So his fame in Tibet became very big, and his Tuku Trapa Gensen had many illustrious students and patrons and sponsors. You see, lamas can't do anything without sponsors. With sponsors, they can spread and do more work. So Tuku Trapa Gensen's sponsor was the king of Mongolia. He had immense wealth. He would come and pay respect to him and offer gold, bars, and silver, brocade, whatever he needed to. The minute the Lama opened his mouth, he would just do it. He would just build it for him. The king of Mongolia, the queen also, and his subjects. So his whole country, the king, is the students of Tuku Trapa Gensen. Then, because of his fame, the Dalai Lama just took power. It's the first time the Dalai Lama took power in Tibet. He became king. The assistants of the Dalai Lama were very jealous. Oh, they were very unhappy. Very, very unhappy. And you know why? More people were going over to see Tuku Trapa Gensen. More were making offerings to him. So the assistants were jealous. Assistants are normal. The Dalai Lama doesn't care, doesn't know anything. So what happens was, too many people were going to him, and the assistants felt it was very bad for the Dalai Lama. So they plotted to kill him. To get rid of him. There's no other way, so the Dalai Lama can rise. So what happened was, then Tugu Traba Gensen had an audience with Nechung. Nechung took trance inside the oracle, the Nechung oracle. And he took trance in the oracle. Through the oracle, Nechung said to Tugu Traba Gensen, do you remember the promise you made 2 lifetimes ago? And Tugu Traba Gensen says, no, I don't remember at all. He says, are you sure? He says, no, I don't remember. So Nechung took some rice, blessed it with mantra, and gave it to him. Eat it. So Tugu Traba Gensen took it, ate it. Immediately he recalled his promise. When he recalled his promise, Nechung said to him, now it's time for you to rise as Dharma protector. Now it's time. Keep your promise. And Tugu Traba Gensen says, but I can't. I don't have any anger. But he scolds students, he shouts, he screams. I mean, he was a very, very, very fierce teacher, but he didn't have any anger. So he says, I don't have any anger. I can't generate that anger to become that kind of protector. So Nechung says, I will create the causes for you. I will make it happen for you. I will generate the causes for you to become, inverted commas, angry. I'm reciting this from Trijang Rinpoche's own commentary, by the way. I received this 20 years ago from Geshe-la. So I'm not making this up. This is from Trijang Rinpoche's commentary that I remember. Because we were told once, I just memorized it. For me, Dharma is very easy to memorize, so I don't forget details. It's not from here either. Okay, this is from the commentary of Trijang Rinpoche. In any case, then the Dalai Lama's assistants plotted, and they said, oh, we're going to go have audience with him. And while we're having audience, we'll kill him lah. So because he was highly attained, there was many ways that he couldn't be killed. They tried to stab him, could not. They tried to kill him by magic, cannot. No way to kill him by magic. No way, because they send Hantus and stuff. He himself is Lama Tsongkhapa. What Hantu is going to run when they see Tsongkhapa? What? Yes. So anyways, they came with katas and offerings to see Tugu Traba Gensen. And they went inside the audience room. They strangled him with a kata. So you see, katas were used for other reasons, for killing too. I gave a kata teaching yesterday. You can see on VC. They took the kata and they strangled him. So as he was being strangled, he generated the mind of enlightenment. And he thought about Lama Tsongkhapa. And he thought he would offer his life up to Lama Tsongkhapa and to the lineage and to all the people in the future who will practice Buddha's teachings and all the people who have faith in Lama Tsongkhapa. He will take the responsibility to protect, to nurture, to help them, to clear their obstacles, to keep away their difficulties, and to help them in finances. He will be the one. He generates that mind. For those who have faith in Lama Tsongkhapa, I will take the responsibility. Protect them, guide them, nurture them. And he died with that last thought. When he died, of course, his attendants they threw, helter-skelter. And it was a very big thing in that Tibet because he's a very high Lama. Very, very high. It's like here in Malaysia, if you have a minister killed like that, oh my God, it's major investigation time. Same in Tibet that time. So what happened was the attendants were very angry. They were very pissed off. They found out about the plot. And so they put him on the funeral pyre. They built a very big funeral pyre for him in Lhasa. And thousands of disciples came, and the king of Mongolia's and all the high lamas all came to pay their last respects to Tugu Traba Gensen. And they just could not light the funeral pyre. No matter how much they tried to burn it, it just would not light. Just cannot light. So his assistant was very angry. His assistant's not enlightened, He took his Zen. This is called a Zen. And he hit it like that. And he said, some kind of Lama you are. You're supposed to be a high Lama. And you don't even get revenge. And you don't show any signs. They just simply kill you. And that's it. And he was very angry he did that. And then the Dalai Lama found out what happened. What's the big procession in Lhasa? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. So the good assistants told him. The bad ones, I don't know. And His Holiness was very disturbed. His Holiness immediately composed a poem, which is still available now, in apology to Tugu Traba Gensen, knowing what happened. His Holiness was very unhappy, very, very, very distraught and very unhappy. Remember, this is the reincarnation of his own teacher. So, the good assistants brought the letter down, and it was read to the assembly. The minute it was read, the fire caught. The pier caught fire. When the fire, a tornado appeared. A round, swirling black wind. Very powerful. You think Katrina is big, you should see this one. And it swirled and swirled and swirled. This was him transforming into a Dharma protector. His mind didn't leave just quietly. Tumultuous wind, fire, very strong gust, and earthquake shook Lhasa. So he left the body in a huge tornado-like wind, just left into the sky, and people can see immediately negative omens in the sky. The crops failed. Many, many animals died. Monasteries lost sponsors. Earthquakes. People became sick. Why? Such a high lama would have benefited so many. The karma to kill such a high lama is very, very heavy. So many, many negative signs came. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama invited very powerful lamas such as Mindriling Rinpoche. Mindriling is a very high Nyingma Rinpoche, and his incarnation is still here with us. And Tantrikas, the highest Tantrikas, the biggest practitioners in Tibet, to do fire puja. Because people thought he became angry and became an evil spirit. But the Dalai Lama knew what he became. But the Dalai Lama needs to prove to the people. Why? If he's not an evil spirit, he cannot be killed. So they do fire puja, jinse. They arrange grand offerings, fire, and they had the highest lamas who attained siddhi on the ladle. And the point is they invite his mind onto the ladle, and with the mantras, they throw it inside the fire. What is that? That is a ritual to kill an evil spirit that is very powerful, so that when they die, their consciousness takes rebirth in Vajra heaven, Yamataka's heaven. So the funny thing about this fella was, when he was caught onto the ladle, every time they put it in the fire, he would come up again and he would appear as Yamataka. So they'd be like, go like that, Yamataka. Go like that, Yamataka. They say, oh, and the Lama said, forget it, I'm not burning Yamataka. This is crazy. He said, number one, I can't burn it. Number two, I'm not burning Yamataka. Because in that kind of ritual and type of meditation, if you're a spirit, you're gonna appear as you are. You know, you got your Halloween mask on, it's gonna melt with all that fire, right? So what happens was he kept appearing as Yamataka. So the Lama freaked out. The Lama freaked out and said, oh my God. So immediately, the jinsek was disturbed and stopped. The report was given to Dalai Lama. Of course, Dalai Lama is very happy. He knows. The Dharma protector, etc., immediately came from Sakya, riding on his horse like the wind, red and galloping, with his fabulous 5 wisdom flags flaring. And you can hear his sound and the bells, because he has bells on top, flying and asking Dorje Shugden to come. Why? To enthrone him. Immediately they went to Tashi Lumpo. From Tashi Lumpo, there were some Dharma protectors who stood at the gate and said, no, you can't enter. Who are you? I don't know who you are. So he's okay, see you later. He went to Sakya. So in Sakya, along with the Dalai Lama, the regent of Tibet, and the king of China at that time. So we have to find out who's the 5th Dalai Lama during the time. Who's the king of China? It says the emperor of China. The emperor of China, the Dalai Lama, and the regent at that time all wrote edicts recognizing him and enthroning him as a Dharma protector. So he was not only recognized in Tibet, he was recognized in China. But it takes time for it to grow. It will grow now. So the king of Tibet, Dalai Lama, the regent, and the king of China on the ordinary base enthroned him. On a supernormal base, etc., immediately came him and grabbed him and said, let's go. And introduced him. I mean, this is how we say in worldly terms. Introduce him to other Dharma. Hey, this is the new kid on the block. And I'm authorizing who he is. I am Setra. So the other guys kind of kept quiet, because Setra is a pretty big, tough guy. So he became very close to Setra, and he became the brother or the confidant. So whenever there's a Setra oracle in Tibet, Dorje Shugden will enter. Whenever there's a Dorje Shugden oracle, Setra will enter. And usually if Dorje Shugden talks, Setra will come and say, I have nothing to say, whatever he says is good enough. Always. Because in Ganden we have Sarah, Ganden we have oracles, Ganden, blessed by Trujana energy, that take trance of Setra and Dorje Shugden. And when one talks, the other one says, oh, exactly the same. No conflict, all the time. And the way they come, their mannerism, the way they move, you know they're different. You know who they are. They can tell immediately. Usually when they come, their hand implements and the way they hold their hands will indicate who they are, who's entered the being. If you ask them directly, they'll tell you who it is. And so, he became enthroned and he resided in Sakya. Because at that time, Gelupas didn't really pray to him much. The Sakyas prayed to him. The Sakyas kept him there. He rode on a horse. As time went on, his mount changed to that of a lion. Why? Because it is predicted in his Tantra, he will be the 15th Buddha to manifest on this planet to give teachings in Bodh Gaya. He will be the 15th. Kunga Ningbo. Alright? And the current Buddha is the 4th, Shakyamuni. He will manifest as the 15th. That's 1. 2. When he became a protector, his time has come, but it's not yet there. Now the time has come, according to Trijang Rinpoche, where his precedence, his fame, his name, his power will grow into the world. Will completely grow. Grow and grow and grow now. Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And therefore, the Dalai Lama again played a very pivotal role. Let me explain to you. The Dalai Lama says that he's a bad protector and we shouldn't pray. Everybody cannot pray to him except Trijang Rinpoche. Like, if he's evil, why can Trijang Rinpoche pray and we can't pray? And if Trijang Rinpoche can pray, Trijang Rinpoche needs assistance to make the tormas, to do the pujas, like I need assistance. I mean, they need to pray too. Then he needs someone to make his statues and tankas. And then he has students, he's going to pass it to them, so he's going to grow up. And that was the announcement in Ganden. Nobody is allowed to pray to him except Trijang Rinpoche. Why only Trijang Rinpoche gets to pray to a demon? That was his edict, the Dalai Lama, this Dalai Lama. And what's incredible is that the minute the Chinese in China heard that this protector, the Dalai Lama, doesn't like and hurts the Dalai Lama, they promote it all over Tibet and China. They're building temples and they're building images all over to promote him. You can read that in books now by Glenn Mullen, that the Chinese are furiously promoting him because the Chinese government here, this hurts the Dalai Lama. We want to get rid of Dalai Lama while we hate him. And so the Dalai Lama does so many things that are excellent, but why does he make a mistake? Even forget religious people. It's like in the Catholic Church, you say we can't pray to Mother Mary anymore. It's that equivalency. All human rights around the world, if you check the net, are talking against His Holiness, that one point. Say he's a man of peace, he's wonderful. Why that? How can you suppress religion or pride? Even in America, you pray to devils and Satan, whatever you want. You can pray anything you want. So the human rights groups all over America are condemning His Holiness for this. And we're thinking to ourselves, the smart people are thinking, why would His Holiness put his neck out like that? Because he's the yellow hat. He himself is a Lama Tsongkhapa student, so he can't openly promote it. Therefore, he puts it down, so China promotes it. When China promotes it, it's already been predicted very clearly. China will be a very strong force in the world. Economic influence, just like America. Today McDonald's is wonderful. Why? It's not wonderful. Because America's wonderful, so we believe everything from America is wonderful. But in our lifetime, China is going to reach that precedence. China's going to be very big, and it's going to control the East. So everything from China is going to grow. So therefore, China is Buddhism. China's Yidam is Lama Tsongkhapa. Go to Yonghe Gong, you see in the heart of Beijing, the king of China has built a huge Tsongkhapa there. Yonghe Gong, I've seen it myself. And he's already been established by the Chinese emperors of the past as a Dharma protector. And his temple now is being built in the 5 peaks of Manjushri, by the way. Wu Dai San. Yeah, his temple is being built there now to protect the place. So his practice in China will grow and grow. And from China, all the Asian countries say, hey, China likes it, we like it too. So you see, the Dalai Lama is so kind. He said that in order to promote it. Because in Trijang Rinpoche's text, it says, in the future, the Dalai Lama and Dorje Shugden will work hand in hand to promote each other. Outwardly, it looks like a conflict. Inwardly, it's to promote. Why? How can two bodhisattvas fight? A. B. If this Dharma protector is evil, do you not think Dalai Lama cannot do a ritual and get rid of him? Do you think that Dalai Lama cannot just do a fire puja and say bye-bye? Why does Dalai Lama let this evil protector run all over the place and do all kinds of funny things? It's very simple. He can get rid of it. What? Some more people say, if you practice protector, it cuts the Dalai Lama's life. What? You mean one little evil spirit can cut the Dalai Lama's life? Then, what about the rest of us schmucks? If you're so attained 14 lifetimes and you're Avalokiteshvara and the spirit can bother you, then I think I'll convert, either be an atheist or something. See, all that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So the truth is, as Trijang Rinpoche has said, the Dalai Lama is promoting him all over the world. Indirectly. The biggest Dharma centers all over practice. So what am I telling to you guys? That doesn't concern you. Tibet doesn't concern you. China doesn't concern you. Nothing concerns you. What concerns you is this. Those evil little spirits running around following you all the time, disturbing the crap out of you. You having to earn a living, obstacles, being free from difficulties and problems. This is the guy. This is the guy.